All right, hello students. I'm making this for the review and I'll be doing it question by question. That way you only need to look at the one where you only need to look at the video about the question you have trouble with. Let me put it that way. So, review for module 4, topic 1. Complete the assignment to prepare for the upcoming assessment. So, question number 1. This is only for question number 1. It says evaluate each numeric expression using the order of operations. Remember, no matter if it's a sentence or a word problem, you always need to identify what you are trying to solve for, what you are trying to find, or what is it asking you to do. So, in this particular case, evaluate. I've been asking y'all about this word this last 2 weeks. Evaluate either means solve or simplify. In the case of these problems, since we know the numbers and the operations, we are solving each numeric expression. Numeric expression is numbers and operations. So we are solving numbers and operations using order of operations. How do we use order of operations? Well, this is where PEMDAS comes into play. Okay? So we're solving numbers and operations using PEMDAS. You are required to use PEMDAS anytime you have more than one operation. I'll say that again. You are required to use PEMDAS anytime you have more than one operation. So let's begin. I'm going to put my PEMDAS here. Now, as I was telling the student earlier, even though we say you multiply and divide from left to right and add and subtract from left to right, you actually do every part of PEMDAS from left to right. Excuse me. All of this is in reading order. You have to do it from left to right. Okay? Now, we're going to start with A. We have negative 17 minus 2 cubed. Now, looking at my order of operations, the first thing is parentheses, but I don't have any. Next is exponents, and I do have one of those. So I need to solve this first. So 2 squared is, let me put it right here, 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Minus negative 17. All right, and then I check to see if I have any more exponents. I do not. So this one is done. Multiply and divide. I don't have any of that. Then we add and subtract. So we have subtraction, and remember, with subtraction, you are now required to do KCO. Why? Because I'm trying to get you to understand or develop a level of thinking that you will need for algebra when you get to high school. So KCO. Excuse me. So KCO, that means we have negative 17 plus, this was positive 8, now it is negative 8. So we are actually solving negative 17 plus negative 8. Going to adding integer rules, this is same sign, and same sign means we add and keep. So you're going to have to finish this off and finish solving that problem on your own. Now, I'm going to help you set up one more. The other ones, I am going to walk through the process, but you're going to need to fill in the numbers if you expect to get an answer. So the next one's going to be C, just because I have a small space right here. And then these two are going to be under here. Yeah, under there. So next we have the quantity of 13 minus 8 squared. Now, when you have a exponent touching a parentheses, you are not allowed to attach that exponent to a number until you solve that parentheses. So that means we have to solve this before we can deal with this. Plus, the order of operation dictates. Parentheses first. We do have a parentheses, which means we will be looking at this first. So we have 13 minus 8. Remember, if we have any kind of subtraction, we need to perform KCO. So this is 13 plus negative 8. So 13 plus negative 8, that gives us 5. Different sign, you subtract and keep the bigger sign. So 13 positives, and we only have 8 negatives, so we have more positives than negatives. So this is going to be a positive 5, and it's the one that's going to get the exponent. Now, done with parentheses, the next one is exponents. This is all we have left. So you're going to solve it, and that's going to give you the answer to C. Now, B and D. Like I said, I'm going to help you set them up, but you're going to have to fill in the numbers. Give me one moment. All right, just have to fix a little something. All right, so B, we got 4 minus 10 times 2 squared plus negative 4 times negative 5. And then we have the quantity of 2 cubed minus 29. Then divide by the quantity of 12 minus 9. All right, so let's get rid of this. So following PEMDAS. Looking at this one, let's split these off. Looking at this one, what would I solve first? Well, according to this, I'm going to solve grouping symbols first. In this case, parentheses, but remember there are other kinds of grouping symbols besides those. So that is this one. Even though these are parentheses, there's only one number in each, so there's nothing to solve. So I'm going to talk about this one later. So we need to solve this first. Remember, there is a skill that you need to do. So that means this needs to be rewritten. And then you are going to solve and get a value. Then you're going to multiply that by 2 squared. Let me move this over. Plus minus 4 minus 5. All right. So we got done with the parentheses. Next is E, exponent. It also includes something else that you will be learning in 8th grade. That would be right here. So we're going to solve that next. Well, you're going to solve it next. The answer goes right here. This goes right there. Plus 4, and 5, -5. So looking at this, we don't have any more exponents. So that means we're done with this step. Next is multiply and divide from left to right. So we actually don't have any division, but we do have two multiplications. We have this one, and then we have this one. Since I might be multiplying with negative numbers, remember you use your triangle or you use the box. So you're either using the triangle or the box, whichever one you chose when I was teaching the lesson. Now, because even though this is multiplication, we have to go from left to right. So we're going to be solving this one first. Plus this. Then we're going to multiply this one next. And we have no more multiplication. So we're done with that one. Last but not least is addition and subtraction. We are adding, but depending on your numbers, depends on what rule you have to apply. If you have two positives, then you have same sign, which is add and keep. If you have two negatives, then same sign, add and keep. If you have a positive and a negative, different signs, subtract and keep bigger. If we have a negative and a positive, different signs, subtract and keep bigger. And then, of course, whatever the answer is, you will put it into Schoology for B. All right, now let's talk about D. Let's talk about D. So D. So let's talk about D. Using the order of operations, D, we would start with parentheses. Do we have any? Yes, we actually have two of them. We have this one and we have this one. We need to start from the left though. So we got to start with this one. All right, inside the parentheses though, I have two different things I could be doing. So let's go to the order of operations. Inside the parentheses, do I have any exponents? I actually do. I have this one. So I have to solve the exponent before I can solve anything else. So solve your exponent. That answer is going to go right here, minus 29. All right, so solve my exponents. Next I have in here is subtraction, and that's the only thing I have left, so we're just going to subtract. No, you're going to do the skill next. So remember, you got to apply the rule. Then when you apply the rule, you have to rewrite your problem. Then you can solve using an adding integer rule. So whatever the adding integer rule is, that would be our value, and our parentheses is now gone. Then we have the other parentheses. So now we got to solve this one. This one, you also have to apply the rule and then rewrite and then solve, which will give you your number. Now, that is all of our parentheses. So we're done here. Excuse me. As for exponents, I no longer have any exponents. So we're done with that step. Then division and multiplication. I only have a division problem, so that means I'm going to only be solving this. And remember, if you're dividing or multiplying, you need to use the square or the triangle. So the square or the triangle. So positive and positive. Positive to positive, we get a positive. If we're doing negative to negative, remember, cover up what you are using. So I would cover up these two negative signs. That means my answer would be positive. Negative to negative gives me a positive. If I have positive to negative, that means I will cover up one of these negatives and the positive sign. That gives me a negative answer. Positive to negative, negative answer. If it's negative to positive, once again, cover up a negative and a positive. That means it's going to be negative. Negative to positive is going to be a negative. And then you put your answer in Schoology. All right, that is it for number 1. Now we're moving on to number 2.